Denme un segundito en lo que inicio esto. Conectar. Y listo. Ya estamos en Facebook Live. Okay, so this session is going to be in English. So I'm gonna start by giving a quick introduction on what Education USA is, and then Liliana, the floor will be yours. So I am Mariano Campo. I am the Education USA advisor for Puebla. And Liliana, she is the Associate Director of International Recruitment Initiatives in Arizona State University. So, for all of you who don't know what Education USA is, we are a global network of advising centers from the US State Department. So we are the ones that are going to be giving you accurate, comprehensive, current information about the full range of accredited universities and higher education institutions. And you all have free access to introductory information on US studies. So if you desire to study in the US, you can always reach to the Education USA advisor that is closest to you, and we will guide you in the process. So some of the activities that we organize for all of you without any cost are one-on-one sessions, public information session, reference material in case you need to study for any test, and workshops. We also prepare some activities with US higher education institution representatives as this online session, mobility fairs, and also virtual events like fairs, seminars, webinars, virtual advising, and virtual workshops. And some of the questions that are frequently asked is, does Education USA have scholarships, or can we give you a scholarship? The only scholarship that Education USA works with is the Opportunity Funds Scholarship. That is a scholarship that is going to be covering all of the application cost. We do not provide support for exchange program since we are going to be helping you to study your full degree or your full bachelor in the United States. Does Education USA have language courses? We do not offer the language courses, but we can be the bridge for you to find the language course in any university in the United States. And we also have some activities for you to improve your English skills, like conversation clubs. They can be virtual or in person. Do you have partnership or agreements with specific US colleges and universities? We do not have any agreements as we work for the US department, but we are going to be the bridge, as I said before, for you to find the best university for you. Some of the characteristics of higher education institution is that there are more than 4,070 accredited higher institutions in the US. They can be public and private. Some of them are self-regulated, and you can find community college and universities. And these are some of our services that we are going to be providing for you. We are going to be helping you to research your options to choose the best university for you. We're going to be there supporting you to find how to finance your studies. We're going to be helping you to complete your application and create a strong student profile. We're going to be there for you to apply for your visa if you have any questions about the whole process. And we're going to be there also helping you to prepare for your departure. So you know everything you need to know before you leave to the United States. And now I would like to introduce Liliana Morachis. Like I said before, she is the Associate Director. I'm sorry, I got lost in between my documents. She is the Associate Director of International Recruitment Initiatives in Arizona State University. Liliana, she's Mexican. She's from Ensenada, Baja California, but she has been living in the US for many years. She's a graduate in law with a master's degree in administration from Tec de Monterrey, Campus Monterrey. She has experience in human resources in the USA, where she worked for many years in companies such as GE, Medtronic, Minimed, and Home Goods. Her passion is education, and she has been teaching at different high schools and university for 30 years, now online. In addition to experience as a school counselor and as an international advocate for internationalization in Mexico. Thank you very much, Liliana, for being here today and helping us to start this series of events that are called Navigating the U.S. University Journey. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mariana. Thank you so much. And happy to be here with you. Happy to share some of my experience. In this series, you're going to learn so many things about different ways that the universities of in the United States work, or the programs that we have. And I guess the best one right now is to start talking about inclusion and what it is. So I prepare a little bit of an agenda for you, and I guess it's important to define what is inclusion. And just because in the United States, it's very different of what perhaps inclusion means in Mexico. Not because the definition is different, it's just because we have traditionally, the United States is a more diverse group. We have, this country was built by many people from different backgrounds, and it makes that diversity playground a little bit more of a melting pot than it is in Mexico. So I want to start with some definitions about inclusion, talk to you about some school resources that you will find in the universities here, talk about student groups, where are they, how they help with inclusion, and of course, some tips and examples of things that, that I know that we do. So with that, I like this definition of inclusion that I found in the Cambridge Dictionary, and it's that imagine that inclusion is that everybody should be able to use safe facilities. Imagine everybody taking part of the same activities. It doesn't matter if you have a disability or if you have another religion. Enjoy the same experiences. How wonderful it is for all our students to have that. And inclusion is taken very seriously in all the US institutions. We understand that there's no university or person that can be perfect, definitely. But one of the interesting things is that we have many resources in place that are going to help not only our students, but our staff, our professors, everybody to learn how they can assist in making the world a more welcoming place. That's the idea. And of course, I'm going to talk about some examples that I know. And imagine that in the universities, this is, for example, the ASU charter. Imagine that this is like the basic thing. This is one of our bylaws. We do have the inclusion in our charter. This is our motto. And this is an example of how the universities value that inclusiveness. And in this case, we're talking about that as long as you have the desire to study, to follow, higher education, you're going to have a place here. So I think it is amazing to know that the institutions are doing all these things because they want to make sure that that everybody is part of the same academic culture. Just to give you another example, inclusion has always been part of the institutions, especially the one that I represent. Last week, we had a wonderful event in which we celebrated 60 years that Dr. Martin Luther King, probably you know about him, pretty sure you heard about him, was here in our campus. And when we think about 60 years ago, and we think, okay, where was, the United States 60 years ago? It was 1 year before the civil rights movement was officially, here in the United States. So most of the institutions are going forward, making sure that everybody gets informed, that inclusion is in every single way. So when we talk about inclusion, there are many words that I'm pretty sure you're all listening to, and it's kind of like a what is inclusion? So do we talk about race? Do we talk about age? Um, Maybe we talk about gender. Um, with my experience in some countries, especially in Latin America, I know that gender plays a huge role. I mean, sometimes we hear things about, well, I want to study, I'm a woman, I want to study engineering. You're a woman, you're not going to do very good. So gender perhaps for us in Latin America is very important. But what about, let's talk about sexual orientation. What about a disability? What about, you know, religion? So the most important thing that we need to be aware is that institutions, academic institutions, um, want our students to find what they need. We want to find a safe place for them. We're open to different ideas. We like to receive the feedback. And definitely, we have to put in place some mechanisms to teach our students that they need to have empathy. They need to connect with people that are totally different, be aware, and willing to understand others. As you know, we have zero tolerance. So that means that there's no room for, well, this is an exception and this is why I discriminated somebody. No. Students need to be comfortable to speak up or speak out. And I guess that that's one of the things that, with the difference with many other countries in the world, this is something that we try to do, and we put many mechanisms in place to make sure that it happens. Now, when I'm saying all these things, the universities want every student, and we believe that they deserve to feel safe, they deserve to be supported, and they deserve to be engaged. We want to make sure that every student that is here with us has these three things. And how do we live each one of them? I'm going to give examples on, for example, how to feel safe. When we talk about safe, imagine that we want to make sure that if we want to include, if we want to teach about inclusiveness, we want to make sure that our leadership, our staff is also inclusive. So in our universities, we want to give equal opportunity to everybody that is in leadership. Having a staff that has that diversity, it's an example of how we want to be perceived. We also have a lot of training to for our own staff and our students to make sure that they know where to go, what to do, and how to understand somebody that it's not the same. Inclusive housing, this can maybe come as a shock, but inclusive housing means having open spaces for our students that are going to be residents to either, if they feel safer in a one gender kind of building, they can do that. If they want to be with another in another area where they feel that they are more connected, they can do that as well. Like I said, increase the awareness and understanding. Imagine that continuously the universities bring speakers to the school. They want to make sure that it's up to date, that you have the best person to talk about many things, accept different points of view religiously, in politics, promote that dialogue. It is important that universities are willing to listen, to give feedback to all the students. We also have very good student representation in different organizations. The same, for example, here, we have a place in our main campus in which if you want to talk about, things like pro-life, you can put a table and you can be there and people can listen to you. If you want to have about academic, I don't know, um, different academic opportunities for women in biology, you can do that as well. So have those open places for students to represent what they like and what they feel it is important. And it's a culture that starts, that it creates little by little. Just to give you an example, you see what it says here, that it says safe zone. That's a program that we have here at ASU. And this is kind of like a workshop that it's designated to increase the overall campus community's understanding and awareness with issues that are faced by the LGBTQIA community and other marginalized persons. And this safe zone was created to help to provide a more inclusive and accepting campus climate. Even for little things that perhaps you're like, oh, do you really teach about that? But even little things like, how can be better to address an individual if they decide that their pronouns are going to be they, them, or if they identify as a he or her. Well, how do we help our professors? How do we help our students on making sure that they are accepting and they are using it properly? Now, the other thing, and I'm going to go back a little bit here, we said safe, supported, and engaged. So how universities support students, making sure that we are inclusive? Well, if we talk about disabilities, having spaces, the right spaces for them to be with a wheelchair, to use the bathroom, and that accessibility is in buildings, in the classes, in housing, because our students are going to be living over there. Having those offices that are going to be there 24/7, 365 days a week. And counseling is not a machine that it's going to be answered. We want our students to be totally supported, having somebody that they can talk to even when they're on vacation, because when you want to be supported, and supported can happen even when you're not on campus. So we're not going to let you on your own. Having other safe spaces to talk, equal employment opportunity. This acronym that I put here in the presentation, I don't know if everybody's familiar, but it means that if we are, if schools are hiring students, staff, we want to make sure that it's because of your knowledge that you're bringing and not because of the way that you look. And one of the things that the students here in the US are also supported, it's with family support. Imagine how important it is that, how to be inclusive. And we know that it's not only on the student, but many universities help the families on how to support their students. And even though I know that in Mexico, we have many other institutions that do the same, it makes us very proud to say that we're pioneers in many of these different resources for our students. And I'm going to give you an example, like I said, of things that I know a little bit more. For example, in accessibility, this is a picture of our website. So we have something that it's called Student Accessibility and Inclusive Learning Services. So you can be a future student or a current student. And when I mean future student, you can be in the process of applying to the university. And guess what? You're going to have help with note-taking. You're going to have help if somebody needs to speak with you in silent language. If you're a current student and maybe you have some problems taking notes, we're going to make sure that you have somebody that is going to help you. Or to read, or even to come from one part of the campus to another one. That little card that you have over there, it's not only for if you have a permanent disability, it could be as simple as if you have a broken foot or, you know, something that you need, we're going to be there for you. So this is the ways that many universities supports their students. Now, remember that we said they need to be safe, they need to be supported, and they need to be engaged. What do we do in engaging students? This is a very nice picture because it shows how diverse our groups of students are. And engaging student groups meaning, and this is part of our talk today that we talk about inclusiveness and student groups, is that we want to make sure that you find the space for you to feel that you're part of. And it could be in sports. It could be culturally. You can be part of, a dance theater, or you can be part of here, for example, we have salsa classes. What if you want to do some social service? Social service could be just by helping in a food kitchen, or maybe making aware some other students about all these social programs that we're talking about. Academics. There's so many ways that the universities make sure that you have to develop. Just if you're here right now in the chat, how many, just to give you an idea, and of course, Arizona State University is the largest public university in the US, but just give me an idea in the chat if you can. How many student groups do you think that we have? And Mariana, you're going to help me because I cannot see the
Yes,
chat.
Ana Lucia says 50.
50. Okay, Ana Lucia. Let's see. Cristina, are you there? Or even you, Mariana, how many different student groups do you think that we have
What
here?
about more than 50?
I think, yes, a little bit more than 50.
Cristina says 150.
Well, guess what? We have over 1,000 groups and organizations. So probably most, so many that you cannot even think about. So imagine how inclusive is that these universities have that many student groups, because we want you to be part of it and we want you to feel safe. And again, these are just some examples. And when we talk about our international students, if you guys are thinking about coming here to the US, there are two things that I can remember that personally it made me feel very good. And it's that one day I was in a fair, and it was in Puebla, actually. I was at a fair, and there were, many students walking around, going to all the universities. And one came to me, and he was asking me about the admission process. And usually when we have a lot of recruiters, we're very professional, and we've asked the students, hey, are you looking into a private, public school, etc. And I was talking to him, and he said, no, 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 no. I want to be there because I know that you have a lot of support for the LGBTQ community, and I know that I'm going to feel safe. And for me, that was fantastic. So our international students, they're coming to a brand new place. A new country, new language. They're going to be speaking English for full time, etc. All these things that are changing. Family is not going to be there, and they want to know what resources do we have so they can have that support and that guidance. So that's when I say it's important to be safe, supported, and engaged. And it doesn't matter which institution do you go in the United States, you are going to find somebody that is going to help you. Now, something else that I wanna share here with you, and I think that we do have time. I want to share a little video, and I'm going to stop sharing here for a while. Because when I talk about engage, and I was trying to think about examples that will relate a lot to Mexico. That's why I talk about the disability. That's why I've been talking about all these things. But one of the questions that I had in one time, I had a chance to present, it was about women in in choosing engineering or choosing something that perhaps it's not common, and it's still in Latin America, in some countries, it's still kind of like oh, you're going to study women, many misconceptions that we have. So I wanted to show how here at ASU we make sure that women have all the potential they need to keep going forward. So I'm going to share a little video. Okay, please let me know if you can hear it. So Mariana, if you can just let me know if you can hear it.
Yes, we can hear.
When I was thinking about joining ASU, some of the things that really appealed to me, very interesting, were its innovative approach to engineering education. It really stood out to me as a place where you could take new approaches to how you think about teaching engineering, and also really support from the faculty, from the administration in trying out new ideas. So that was really exciting to me, that to come to a place that not only is doing innovative things, but really encourages it and it actually expects it.
There's so much support in the Fulton Schools of Engineering, and I'm so excited to be here. There is not a single challenge that I have faced in my engineering degree that I have not been able to overcome with help from the Fulton Schools. Everybody has this idea that engineers are like, oh, they're so brainy, they're gonna sit there, study at their computer, and like figure it out by hard work. And I don't really feel that the Fulton Schools are requiring you to just sit there and figure it out through hard work. I feel like they're more interested in having you have the resources to help you. And so all of the resources that the Fulton Schools have to offer have really taught me that when I struggle, there is somebody that knows how to do well, and somebody knows the answer to my weird question.
What inspires me to be an engineer is that, honestly, people told me that I couldn't do it. They told me that I was a female and I should just worry about teaching or staying at home and raising a family. And I think that that's a really big source of my passion for why I want to do this, is because I've always been really interested in math and science and building things. And when I was a kid, I would take things apart and put them back together. And yet I didn't realize that those were all things that engineers do. And so it was really important to me to change that mindset of like, just because of your gender or your belief system, whatever your background is, you can still be an engineer.
Pick something that you're gonna love and delve in. Both feet, your whole body, whatever you end up doing, make sure that you have the tools, that you can make changes and differences. You don't wanna be the person that is doing something that somebody else told you to do. You wanna be doing something that you are paving the way for the people that come after you.
Having been someone who's interested in math and science and engineering since I was younger, even just in my lifetime, I think it's changed a lot to be more accepting of women and their interests in the STEM fields. And at ASU in particular, I've never felt the experience that from administration or from a faculty member that I was being like held back or anything. I think that what's important for a lot of women in engineering I talk to is we don't want to have like an unfair disadvantage or advantage. We really just want to be, alongside our peers and have the same opportunities. And I think that that is being realized more and more.
There are definitely times that it's hard to be a woman in engineering. No lie, I sit in a lot of rooms with just men, but I bring my purple computer, and my purple water bottle, and I lead with the fact that I'm a woman, and I think it's actually really empowering. I think it's really fun.
When I got my internship offer, they were just asking me questions about my research, and if I really hadn't taken up that opportunity, I don't think I would have gotten the chance and the opportunities that I have now. I also have my family here through the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and we're all there to support each other, and we love each other. We understand the importance of a work-life balance. We also understand that studies come first, and so it's really amazing to have them whenever you need friends, or you need to go out, or you need a study buddy. It's really amazing to have that community here.
An engineer does not look a certain way, and I really think we've come a long way. So the typical stereotypes of engineers, I feel like, aren't as prevalent anymore. You don't have to fit in some sort of certain mold. So I like pink, I can be an engineer. I don't like to build things, but I'm still an engineer. So there's some certain things that I feel like we hear all the time about what engineers are, and there really is a different kind of engineering for everyone. So I really believe that there could be a good engineering fit for everyone, no matter your interests.
Technology is always changing, the world is always changing, and so engineers tend to be at the forefront of those changes. So that's really exciting, it's very dynamic. And so those are some of the things that appeal to me as being part of engineering. You get to work with a lot of really interesting people, a lot of different people, and so that also is really appealing. It's sort of like you're at the start of coming up with a solution and doing that in collaboration with others.
I really hope that you like it, because I think that it speaks a lot for, like I said, especially, being in Mexico, and how sometimes we look at women in engineering, and that's inclusion, having all these different programs. That's something that it helps a lot. And I don't know if you remember, there was one of the girls that was interviewed that she said, oh, I have a lot of support from my colleagues, my friends, and my groups. And she had here on her shirt that it says SHIP. And I'm going to talk about that as well. Because when we talk about students and organization and how they engage and how they are inclusive, well, if you're thinking, if any of the ones that are listening today are students that are, first of all, women that like STEM, or just what are my opportunities as a Hispanic student in the US? Well, these, I'm going to show now some associations that are helping students nationwide. So it doesn't matter where you are. You can be here in Arizona, you can be in any other place. And these are real life student groups that are very strong, and they want to help you to be inclusive. Here are just some misconceptions. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to read through that. Maybe if you are studying in STEM, like I said, these are things that you listened before, but we have WISE. WISE is a great group for women that it's women in science and engineering. Let's take apart science and let's just think about, engineering, and let's just think about science. If you have a passion for math, if you have a passion of biology, and you think that you're not going to get the support, well, guess what? This group WISE is in most of the universities, the majority of the well-respected universities in the US, they have a chapter for that. So you can join many other females that are as interested as you. So it doesn't matter, again, the inclusion, you are going to have the same opportunities. You're going to have support between different between the different universities. So it is super interesting because they get together if you're part of this group, and you can network and find some other women that are like you. Here's another group, Society of Women Engineering. Society of Women Engineering was also created to empower women to have the whole potential and in their careers. And this is also, of course, we have the chapter here at ASU, but it doesn't matter which university you go, they're going to have, if they have an engineering program, it is very likely that you can join these programs and you can grow in them. As you can see, part of what these programs do, not only they have special guest speakers, they also help in the community. So you receive a lot of information, but you give back to the community, like in here, that they're helping some young children to learn about, some other women to learn about robotics, or learn about, I don't know, something that you like, that you think it will be super interesting so they don't kill that dream. And then I have SHIP. SHIP is the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. I know that it's sometimes when you talk about, what is going to be, I'm Hispanic, I'm going to go to the US, I'm going to be a minority. Well, the purpose of SHIP in general is to help and increase the number of Hispanics graduating with STEM degrees. STEM meaning anything that has to do with science. And it is a network not only in each university, but they get together for recruiting fairs. They get together to make sure that you get the same opportunities, that you go to these fairs, you are engaged with those employers that are looking to hire very good Hispanic talent. And that helps you with internships, that helps you with co-op, meaning that you can be working while you're studying, you can be learning while you're still in school and gain that experience to bring back home, or in our case, back to Mexico. So just look at this one chapter. Imagine in every single university in the States having a chapter of SHIP, getting together, doing network, finding some other ideas. This is another example of inclusiveness and engagement in student groups. And well, last but not least, these are other examples of ASU. We have many students' coalitions. I know that I focus more on Hispanics and women, but we have Asian Pacific American. We have an alliance of indigenous people. We have Rainbow Coalition. El Concilio is Hispanic, of course. Professional associations, even after you graduate, in every university, you're going to find different ways that you can participate and you can still get that information that you need. So with that being said, remember that I mentioned that I was going to give examples and some tips. So now let's talk about some tips. Number one, if you're thinking about coming to any institution here in the US, you have to know that you're going to be safe, that you're going to speak up. And then there's somebody else that is going to help you. They're going to give you all the tools and the support. It doesn't matter why you think it makes you different. We're going to make sure that you are included in every single one of our activities. The other thing, don't be afraid. If you want to ask questions, even if you don't know how to address somebody, please be sure that somebody else is going to help you for that. Participate in all these activities. Make sure that you find the group that it will make your academic journey a little bit different. It's going to put some salt on your main dish that it's, of course, studying here in the US. With that, I don't know how we'll be doing with time, Mariana.
You are doing perfect. But I think we can leave some time for the question.
Perfect. Okay. So I am going to see if you have any questions.
Yes, I do. The first question is, what resources does ASU offer to support student groups?
Great question. When it is very open in the way that as soon as you have another student that feels that, hey, we share the same passion, why don't we get together? We're a group of students. You can go here, you're going to get an advisor. You're going to find an advisor, and you're just going to write your club, and they're going to help you to follow up. And that way, you're going to have a club. It happened that we did have a Mexican club many, many years ago, and now we're starting to get it back. So, and by the way, the president it's from Mexico City. And we have a lot of students that if you have that a passion and you want to start, doing your group, as long as it is a group that respects each other, where you're going to find, somebody else, and you're going to find that community, we can do it.
Thank you very much, Liliana. We have another question. How can students join student groups?
Okay. And this is something that I've seen not only here at ASU, but in many universities. There are two ways. Definitely, you can go to the website and you can find, the clubs. Each one of the universities have, in their website, they will have a space dedicated for many student groups. But at the beginning of each semester, when students are arriving, especially the ones that are new, they have like a fair. So the first 2 or 3 days, you will find many student organizations going around. And that's the way that you can, talk to some members, try to get involved. And that's the best thing to learn. Hey, I want to be part of the Harry Potter club. I want to be part of the salsa club or the taco club. They have a chocolate club. Imagine how cool it is to be eating chocolate once a week and learn about different countries. Or if you want a specific, like the ones that I mentioned, woman in engineer, etc. And not only that, constantly there are events going around the campus. The campus here, the same as in Mexico, are very lively. So you will be finding many other activities that are going around.
Thank you. What kind of activities does student groups organize?
Sometimes they have dinners. Sometimes they have just like a barbecue. Sometimes they have a lot of fundraisers, so you can be part of it. There, many, many things. Some of the ones that I know, because I participated sometimes and I go and walk around. When it's September 16, here ASU, it's a Hispanic university. So we're going to have a lot of festivities, but the students that are part of the salsa club, they give salsa lessons for free. So it is a beautiful evening. There's music, and they're on one side just making sure that everybody, faculty and staff can just be, dancing. And that's a very nice activity that they do. Another activity will be our students from India. I know that once a month they have these tables for students that are from India that are missing some home cooking, and they cook and they have some traditional dishes for them. So these are the kind of activities that you will see around the campus.
Wow, that sounds so great. I have another question, and I hope you can recall and trust your memory. Is there like any example or any situation where inclusion has created a significant difference for a student or a group?
Well, I'm pretty sure that all of you have heard the news about what's going here right now in universities in the United States. And because of the situation in the Middle East, we have two different groups with two different opinions. Our institutions are open to listen to, with point of view, very respectful, as long as they do it in a peaceful manner and as long as they respect everybody else. So that could be an example that it's happening not only here, but it's happening in many universities and even around the world, where you can express yourself as long as you do it respectfully. And they're two completely different points of view.
Thank you very much, Liliana. These were all of our questions, and I really, really want to thank you for being here today and doing this opening session in the Navigating the U.S. University Journey series. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Ana Lucia, for your special appearance today. And I think that's it. Thank you both.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.